Welcome to the module on creating interactive conversational bots for Microsoft Teams. Hi, I'm Andrew Connell. I'm a Microsoft MVP in the area of Microsoft 365 development. I have a lot of experience with SharePoint development, Microsoft Graph, Microsoft Teams, developing add-ins for Microsoft Office, as well as developing applications for Microsoft Identity, including Azure Active Directory. This video is the first in a series of videos on this Microsoft Learning module. This video is also part of a playlist that includes all the videos that are associated with this module so you can watch them in order. The playlist and all its included videos are associated with a Microsoft Learning module that includes hands-on lab exercises and additional resources. Check the notes for this video and the associated playlist for more information and where to find the Microsoft Learning module. Okay, let's get started. Conversational bots allow users to interact with your web service through text, interactive adaptive cards, and task modules. These bots can be scoped to handling simple commands. Developers can also create complex artificial intelligence-powered and natural language processing virtual agents. This capability enables developers to create a guided interaction with your users. In this video series, you'll learn the basics of bots, the Microsoft Bot Framework, and the steps required to register a bot in the Microsoft Teams app to interact with it from the Microsoft Teams client. We're specifically going to cover what tasks are best handled by bots, how do bots work, how are bots in Microsoft Teams unique, developing bots for Microsoft Teams, and the basics of conversational bots. Let's start with an overview of bots in Microsoft Teams. Bots in Microsoft Teams can be part of a one-to-one conversation, a group chat, or a channel in a team. Each scope provides unique opportunities and challenges for your conversational bot. Bots contain threaded conversations between multiple people. This potentially gives your bot massive reach, but individual interactions need to be concise. Traditional multi-turn interactions probably won't work very well, and instead, look to use interactive cards or task modules, or potentially move the conversation to a one-to-one conversation if you need to collect lots of information. Your bot only has access to messages where it is @mentioned directly. You can retrieve additional messages from the conversation using Microsoft Graph. Some scenarios where bots excel in a channel include notifications, particularly if you provide an interactive card for users to take additional information, feedback scenarios like polls and surveys, and interactions that can be resolved in a single request-response cycle where the results are useful for multiple members of the conversation. Bot chats are non-threaded conversations between 3 or more people, and they tend to have fewer members in a channel and are much more transient. Similar to a channel, a bot will only have access to messages where it is @mentioned directly. Scenarios that work well in a channel will usually work well in a group chat. This is the traditional way for a conversation bot to interact with the user in a one-to-one personal chat. They can enable diverse workloads, QA bots, bots that start workflows in other systems, bots that tell jokes, and bots that take notes are just a few examples. Remember to consider whether a conversation-based interface is the best way to present your functionality. So how do bots work? Conversational bots consist of 3 things: a publicly accessible web service that you host, your bot registration that registers your bot with the bot framework, and your Teams app package that contains your app manifest. This is what your users install and connect to the Teams client to your web services that are all routed through the bot service. Bots for Microsoft Teams are built on the Microsoft Bot Framework. Microsoft recommends you use either C# or Node.js to take advantage of their SDKs. These packages extend the basic Bot Builder SDK classes and methods. They're going to use specialized card types such as adaptive cards. They're going to send and receive Microsoft Teams channel-specific data on activities, and they're going to process messaging extension requests. So how are bots in Microsoft Teams unique? Bots are created using the Microsoft Bot Framework and are diverse, and they can be used in multiple platforms. Bots developed for Microsoft Teams contain some differences from other platforms. The primary difference in bots developed for Microsoft Teams is in how activities are handled. The Microsoft Teams Activity Handler derives from the Bot Framework's Activity Handler to route all Teams activities before allowing any non-Teams specific activities to be handled. When a bot for Microsoft Teams receives an activity, it passes it on to its activity handlers. Under the covers, there's one base handler called the turn handler that all activities are routed through. The turn handler calls the required activity handler to handle whatever type of activity was received. Where a bot is designated for Microsoft Teams differs is that it's derived from a Teams activity handler class that is derived from the bot framework's activity handler class. Your conversational bot can subscribe to events unique to Microsoft Teams. Some of these events are as follows. You have team member events like team member added and team member removed, channel events such as channel created, renamed, and deleted, team events such as team renamed, and messaging reactions such as reactions added or removed. To create a conversational bot for Microsoft Teams, you need the following things. You need to create a web service, register the web service as a bot with the Microsoft Bot Framework, create your Microsoft Teams app manifest and app package, and upload your app package to Microsoft Teams. Microsoft provides SDKs for multiple platforms, including .NET and Node.js. And this video and all the demos that I have associated with this video will use the Node.js SDK. The heart of your bot is the web service. It's going to define a single HTTPS route on which it receives all requests. The Microsoft Bot Framework will send a different type of message to your web service. Your web service can then inspect the type of message to route it to the wanted logic. The other option is to use one of the available SDKs that expose methods the SDK will call when messages matching the specific types are received. For example, when a message extension action command is invoked, the SDK will direct the message type compose extension / fetch task. And it's going to call the method handle Teams messaging extension fetch task that's going to then pass in a context and the payload from the message that was sent as an HTTPS post from the Microsoft Bot Framework. The following code defines a new bot that is watching for messages that contain the string mention me. When it receives this message, it responds with a message that starts with hi, and then it mentions the user who sent the original message. Now, once you've created your web service, you'll then register it as a bot with the Microsoft Bot Framework. And registering your web service with a bot framework provides a secure communication channel between the Microsoft Teams client and your web service. The Microsoft Teams client and your web service never communicate directly, and instead messages are routed through the Microsoft Bot Framework service. When you register a new bot with the Microsoft Bot Framework, you'll associate it with a new or an existing Azure AD app, and this app contains the app ID and the secret that are used for the bot framework to authenticate with your web service and a Microsoft Teams app. Before deploying your Microsoft Teams app and custom bot to Microsoft Teams, you need to define the bot within the custom app. And this is done by adding an entry to the app's manifest file. Now you can use App Studio to add a bot to the app's manifest file. App Studio can create a new app manifest file, or you can import an existing one to add a bot to it. The following JSON is taken from the app's manifest for the bot that you'll create in the next few demos within this module. The bot defines a new command, mention me, that is displayed to users who want to interact with it. And listening to all the supported commands isn't required, but it does make your bot more user-friendly. The last step is to then create the Microsoft Teams app package and upload it to Microsoft Teams. And once this is done, users can begin to use your bot. A conversation is a series of messages sent between your bot and one or more users. There are 3 kinds of conversations that are also called scopes in Microsoft Teams. You've got Teams, which is called the channel conversation, and also called a channel conversation, and it's visible to all members of the channel. A group chat is a conversation between the bot and 2 or more users, and a personal conversation is between the bot and a single user. A bot's going to behave slightly differently depending on what kind of a conversation it's involved in. Bots in a channel and a group chat conversation require that the user mention the bot to invoke it in the channel or in the group chat, while bots in a one-to-one conversation don't require an @mention. All messages that are sent by the user will be routed to your bot. Now, each message is an activity object of type message. When a user sends a message, Teams posts the message to your bot. Specifically, it sends a JSON object to your bot's messaging endpoint. And your bot examines the message to determine its type and respond correctly. To receive a text message, the text property of the activity object is going to be set. And in the bot's activity handler, you're going to use the turn context object's activity to read a single message request. And to send a text message, you're going to specify the string that you want to send as the activity, and in the bot's activity handler, you're going to use the turn context object's send activity method to send a single message response.